Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a topic that is honestly one of the most critical, yet somehow frequently misunderstood areas of our health. We're talking about the deeply intertwined relationship between weight, metabolism, and blood sugar. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer mountain of information out there, diets, glucose levels, metabolic health, well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to take all that complex science and translate it into a clear, actionable toolkit you can actually use.
To really grasp why this matters, we have to look at the severity of the problem. As the source material from the Wellness Revolution points out, excess weight weighs down the body, heart, brain, and sinks our health. We usually just think about weight purely in physical terms, right? Like how it affects our knees or our heart. But it goes way deeper. Excess body weight, especially obesity, takes a massive toll on our mental health too. It drives issues like poor body image and low self-esteem. It literally weighs down every single system we rely on to function at our absolute best.
And that heavy physical and metabolic burden leads us right to a very critical term, diabesity. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's an amalgamation of two of the absolute biggest health concerns of our time. It encompasses both high blood sugar levels and being overweight or obese. Look, this isn't just some passing health trend. Diabesity has reached epidemic proportions all over the globe. It places a staggering burden on our bodies and our healthcare systems. That's exactly why understanding it, and more importantly, addressing it, is so absolutely vital for our optimal health.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, the weight-diabetes connection. Number 2, tools to measure health. Number 3, strategies for weight loss. And finally, number 4, managing diabetes.
Let's jump right into section 1, the weight-diabetes connection, understanding the biology of insulin and metabolism.
Let's walk through a little micro-narrative of the insulin cycle. So when you eat, your body extracts glucose from that food. This continuous supply of glucose is absolutely vital for us. Think of it as being just as essential as oxygen. Our brains, our bodies, we depend on it constantly. Now, in response to that glucose, your pancreas dispatches a neurohormone called insulin. Insulin acts exactly like a key. It unlocks your cell membranes so those cells can absorb the glucose and actually use it for energy. When this system works perfectly, boom, you have stable energy. But if we're constantly consuming highly processed carbs and simple sugars, we force a massive surge of insulin, and that can totally disrupt this entire cycle.
And that disruption has a really terrifying hidden cost. Just look at this number, 50 to 70%. When you have ongoing issues with insulin resistance, your poor pancreas is forced into overdrive, just trying to keep your blood glucose levels under control. Over time, that overworked pancreas starts to fail. The crazy part? A diagnosis of type 2 diabetes typically only happens after 50 to 70% of those pancreatic cells have already lost their functionality. That is a massive, massive amount of hidden damage happening way before a doctor ever gives you a diagnosis.
Now, before we even get to diabetes, there's often a major warning sign called metabolic syndrome. It's basically a cluster of conditions that happen together. The 5 criteria are abdominal obesity, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high triglycerides, and low HDL cholesterol. That's the good cholesterol, by the way. What you really need to know here is that having just 3, yes, just 3 of these 5 criteria leads to a diagnosis of metabolic syndrome. And once you have that, your risk for heart disease, stroke, and eventually diabetes absolutely skyrockets.
Okay, moving on to section 2, tools to measure health, your personal compass.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer volume of sophisticated measurement tools we have at our disposal today. It's incredible. For everyday tech, you've got smart scales that sync right up with apps to track your BMI and body fat. Then, you step up to clinical-grade body composition tools. Things like DEXA scans, bioelectrical impedance, or even hydrostatic weighing. These give you incredibly detailed breakdowns of fat, muscle, and water. And for blood sugar, we have continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, plus ketone meters and oral tolerance tests. CGMs are amazing because they provide real-time, minute-by-minute data on how your body is responding to food. Basically, we are no longer guessing, we can measure exactly what our metabolism is doing.
But hey, you don't always need a high-tech device to measure your health choices. The glycemic index, or GI, is a crucial non-device metric. It essentially measures how quickly carbohydrate-containing foods raise your blood sugar. High GI foods are rapidly digested. They cause those quick spikes and subsequent crashes that leave you feeling totally lethargic and foggy.
On the flip side, low GI foods, like complex vegetables, are digested slowly. They provide sustained energy, they support effective insulin function, and they are just an incredible tool for appetite control.
Which brings us to Section 3, Strategies for Weight Loss, Interventions and Multidisciplinary Support.
Managing weight and metabolic health is a pretty complex endeavor, and it really requires a team approach. Nobody has to do this alone. Yes, you usually start with a general practitioner, and you might see endocrinologists, diabetes educators, or even ophthalmologists and podiatrists. But the source material also highlights alternative, holistic avenues like traditional Chinese medicine or TCM. It's fascinating. TCM practitioners use personalized herbal formulas and specific acupuncture points. For example, they might use stomach 36 to stimulate energy flow, enhance appetite regulation, and promote metabolism. It's all about building a comprehensive team that addresses your unique physical, nutritional, and energetic needs.
When we look at specific interventions, they generally fall into three main categories. First, medical interventions, like prescription medications, think Orlistat or Contrave. Note the strict requirements here, though. These are generally for individuals with a BMI of 30 or higher, or 27 plus with obesity-related conditions, and they require close practitioner monitoring. Next, we have over-the-counter supplements like green tea extract or psyllium husk, alongside tech apps like MyFitnessPal or Noom to help build daily habits and track your progress. And finally, as a last resort, surgical options like a gastric bypass or lap band, which typically require a BMI of 40 or higher or 35 with severe health conditions.
So, the crucial point is this. Whether you're using a slick smartphone app, taking prescription medication, or undergoing surgery, these are only adjuncts. Foundational lifestyle changes, like your diet and your daily exercise, remain the absolute essential building blocks of any successful and sustainable weight loss plan. You simply can't out-medicate or out-tech a poor foundation. It all starts with the basics.
All right, let's move into our final section. Section 4, Managing Diabetes, Taking Control of Your Blood Sugar. First off, we really need to clearly contrast the two primary forms of this condition, because the toolkits for treating them look completely different. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition. It's totally unrelated to modifiable lifestyle factors. The pancreas simply doesn't produce insulin, which means it requires lifelong insulin therapy. Type 2 diabetes, on the other hand, is heavily influenced by those modifiable lifestyle factors we've been talking about. It's driven by insulin resistance and an overworked pancreas. And the most important takeaway here, type 2 can often be prevented or managed through lifestyle changes.
Now, when medication is required for diabetes, the options are highly targeted. For type 2, metformin is typically the first-line medication. It works brilliantly to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce the liver's production of glucose. Beyond that, there are classes of drugs like sulfonylureas, DPP-4 and SGLT2 inhibitors, and GLP-1 receptor agonists that help regulate blood sugar in a bunch of different ways. And of course, for those who need it, insulin therapy is available in rapid, short, intermediate, or long-acting forms. This provides the exact background or mealtime support the body just can't produce on its own.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how rapidly diabetes management technology has evolved. It's actually wild to look at the timeline. We started back in the 1970s with basic finger prick glucose meters. Fast forward to the 2000s, and we had insulin pumps and smart pens. The 2010s brought us continuous and flash glucose monitors, beaming real-time sensor data straight to our phones. And now, in the 2020s, we literally have artificial pancreas systems. These are closed-loop automation technologies that read your data and adjust insulin delivery in real time to keep things stable. The way this tech has evolved to automate and simplify patient care is truly breathtaking.
Ultimately, true wellness and the active fight against the diabetes epidemic require a truly holistic approach. It's a balanced combination. It's the foundational piece of diet and exercise combined with the expert support of medical interventions and specialists, all backed up by daily monitoring technology. You really need all these pieces working together in perfect harmony to see the best results.
We've covered a ton today. The biology, the metrics, the medical interventions, and the incredibly advanced technology that is available to you right now. The power to manage your weight and control your blood sugar is quite literally at your fingertips. So I'll leave you with this provocative question. You have the tools. You have the technology. What is your data telling you today? Take that insight, take proactive control of your metabolic health, and start building your own wellness revolution. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.